Hey everyone, Gary Humble here. So I just wanted to bring something up because this is especially interesting just in light of the recent shadow banning conversation on Twitter, and I'm experiencing some of that now. I've recently begun to engage with the hashtag walkaway campaign, and really excited about the movement. But out of that, wrote this song called "I'm an American," which is now on iTunes and everywhere digital to download. And so I've been on Twitter, Google, my website, whatnot, trying to promote the song and just create some awareness. But there's been some issues. So I want to show you this. You can make your own determination. If there's anyone out there that can explain this away, and you've got experience, and you can make a comment and give me some insight, I'd love it. But as far as I can tell, really frustrated right now with Google and Twitter because seemingly to me they're infringing upon my free speech. And just to lay this out there, in my past I owned a microbrewery in Dallas, Texas area, and so I did a lot of marketing. I was interviewed by USA Today and Forbes, being at the time having had the second most successful crowdfunding campaign in the microbrewery world. I'm only saying that to say that I'm by no means an expert in this stuff, but I'm not a novice and not illiterate. So, but again, if I'm not looking at this right and someone can give me some insight here, I would love to see that. So let's just take a look. So first off, I want to start with Twitter. Just in the recent light of the shadow banning conversation, because I have read that Twitter will begin to kind of throttle down your presence on Twitter depending upon who you follow. So just a few days ago, I haven't been on Twitter in a long time, admittedly. I've been a member. I've had my account since 2008. And I've got, right now just over 3,200 tweets. So, I've been on Twitter, but have stayed off the last year or so. But if we look back here at my history, let's just go back. And right now, I have, I think, like 518 followers. But back then, like right now, back in 2015, at that time, I think I had, 300, 400, somewhere around there. So I had even less than I have now. This is just a nice little point to make. But if you look at my engagements back then, and I pull up my tweet activity, my impressions, I was getting 1.5 times worth in the neighborhood of impressions versus followers. So at the time, I would send out a tweet, a meaningless tweet, and get 800 impressions. Let's just keep looking at some other ones here. So that's a retweet. 1,000 impressions was fairly common. Here's a picture of me pretending to shave my little boy. He used to love that. 1,000 impressions. Oh, here's my hot wife. We're having a date night at the shooting range. And if you can check out the target here, all I'm saying is don't bust up into the house unannounced, okay? So in any case, got 4 likes on that, but about 1,000 impressions. So back in the day, I was getting on average, 600, 700, 800, 1,000 impressions on a tweet. And like I said, at that time, I had roughly 300 to 400 followers. I have 518 today. Now let's go back. Let's go up here to the present. So so July 22nd. This is my first time back on Twitter, and just to note, before I sent out this tweet, in order to kind of prepare to, because what I'm doing here is I'm promoting my song, right? Which is a song, inspired by the hashtag walkaway movement. So it's conservative news, it's conservative message. Kind of not the liberal message, obviously, but a very pro-American, pro-conservative message. So I went on my account and began to follow a lot of conservative news pundits, you know, reporters and, you know, Fox News channels and all that sort of stuff, just to begin to kind of fill my news feed with some of that news that's coming through. But after I did that, I began to tweet, and let's look at my first set of impressions here. 191 impressions. That is a far departure from what used to be. The next tweet, and of course I'm hashtagging walk away, so I'm obviously conservative in my tweets here. 116 impressions. This one, 176 impressions. Now here's what's interesting. This is what's happened. I was engaging these guys that have been retweeting this nonsense about these fake walkaway memes, that Walkaway created these memes and used fake actors from that were stock photos from Shutterstock and whatnot, which is empirically false. I know the people that run Walkaway. I talked to the people that run Walkaway. Nobody made these images, and despite Brandon Straka going public and talking to Snopes, dismissing it and saying that, you know, we did not create this stuff, it is still being perpetrated by CNN. Was on last night. Stephen Colbert, you know, completely lied on air, and this is why Walkaway is fake. No one's paying attention that Walkaway did not make this stuff. In any case. So I got into a little bit of a back and forth on Twitter. This guy, whoever he is, K. Thor Jensen, well, we got into a little fight, and I'm not going to repeat these words, but you can see right here, he responded and did not call me very nice names. So I responded, and I screen captured the two awesome names that this guy called me, simply because I asked him to back up his facts, or back up what he was saying with facts. He never answered a question, never responded. These two tweets was his response to me. But after I put this out, check, this is like my most famous, like, this is me being Twitter famous, though I know this is not Twitter famous at all, but I'm just saying it's the most engagement I've ever gotten on Twitter, because I'm hardly ever on there. Got 13, you know, replies, 19 retweets, 48 likes, over 7,800 impressions on this tweet. So obviously, like, me putting this out there, like, struck a nerve and got a lot of impressions out there. Now, for those of you that know SEO and social media and how this stuff works, you would think that that would increase my reach, right? That if people are engaging with your tweets at that level, then that's a good thing, and that would only boost your engagements with future tweets, one would think. It's usually how this stuff works. In my case, however, since this is conservative news and I'm hashtagging face news, hashtagging walkaway, hashtagging MAGA, my tweets after that only get worse from here. So 121 impressions. Let's go up here. These are awesome. I put my press release on my website, of course, trying to get my song out there. 68 impressions. Now remember, back when I was getting 1,000 impressions, I just had a tweet that got 7,800 impressions, and now all of a sudden I'm at 68, 131 impressions. Here's one that I created this little video with a clip from my song. That one got 161 impressions. Then I put some links to the iTunes deal, 77 impressions. This one, 29 impressions. So I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else I even hashtag Kiki, you know, like trying to get some more spin here, and that got me 29 impressions. Now, maybe I am just completely social media ignorant, but this to me shows a trend that Twitter, either by their automated system or someone at Twitter, Twitter in general has recognized that I am putting out news regarding Walkaway, the Walkaway movement, and in a conservative vein, and they have significantly throttled. I mean, I'm reaching no one right now, so my tweets essentially are meaningless. At 29 impressions, like, no one sees that, no one cares. So that's what's happening on Twitter, which is really interesting in light of the shadow banning conversation against conservatives that has happened in the last few days. And I know this is getting long, but if you care about free speech and you care about your country, keep listening. So I want to show you the Google thing. Okay, so on Google, I paid $380 to prweb.com, PR Newswire, which, by the way, nothing against them. I think they did their job. And so I wrote a press release, and I've done this before. I'm familiar with the process, and I paid prweb.com to promulgate this press release across the web and try to get it picked up by news media. Well, it didn't get picked up by anyone major, unfortunately. I mean, who knows? That might remain to be seen. But the press release got posted, as you can see here, on 213 outlets. So that press release says new single, you know, I'm an American, song by Gary Humble, is now on the web 213 times. Again, if you're familiar with SEO, search engine optimization, like, it's a good thing, right? Google should be picking that up, and you should be seeing that on the internet. So all these business journal websites, you know, not that big of a deal, but it's online, it's being indexed by Google. And then a bunch of these small, you know, local news outlets, so local NBC stations, CBS stations, you know, whatever, their ABC stations. And you can see, like, let's go to Cleveland CBS 19, and you can see the release here. So it's online. Here's my press release in its entirety. New single, I'm an American, inspired by the hashtag Walkaway campaign. And the press release is there, and even the URL. This is SEO Gold. The URL has new single, I'm an American, inspired by the Walkaway campaign. So these are all things that should be propping this up in the Google search engine, okay? So 213 times this was put out there, and this is why I did that, so that this starts showing up in Google search. But if you go to Google search and you put in, you know, I'm an American, and even add Gary Humble, I mean, let's really help out the search engine here and get really specific, not try to make it work too hard. This is what you come up with. One on, I don't know what worldnow.com is, my thing on DistroKid, which is my distributor that I use to go on iTunes, and one instance from the bizjournals.com. So you get those three instances of or actually just two instances of the press release. My website, my LinkedIn page, you know, old stuff from when I used to own a microbrewery. Someone posted something on Reddit. But after that, like, none of those pages show up. I'm on the second page of search results, nothing. Here's by the way, I'm even running Google ads, which I'm about to stop because I'm wasting my money. I'm paying Google, okay? I'm even paying Google to put this online, you know, to put my website, promote the song. My ad that I'm paying for shows up on page 2 of the search results and at the bottom of the page. It didn't even show up on the first page. It's at the very bottom on page 2. Again, no press releases. And my ad is gone now on page 3. Still nothing. I'm on page 4. Oh, my ad came back on page 4, which is interesting. Nothing. Ad's gone now on page 5. You get the point. Like, my ad came back on page 6. But all of these, like, nothing's there. You might say, well, you just I put the press release out on Thursday. It should be online, and it should be in the Google search results. And here's how I know that, because I can tell you right now, my website, I'mAnAmericanSong.com, which I launched, let's see, on July 14th, so just a couple weeks ago, Google crawls my website an average of 21 pages per day. So on average, every day on my small, little, mediocre, nobody knows about website that I just put up 2 weeks ago, Google and its search bots is crawling and indexing my website 21 pages every day, okay? My point is that the biz journals and all these other news agencies that obviously Google knows about, Google is on their site, those sites are being indexed. And that press release having been on those websites now for 2 days, Google knows that they're there. The search engine knows, the bots know that those pages, that those 213 pages are there. Yet all of that said, you go back to the search results and nowhere, oh, they're right here, nowhere to be found. Non-existent. My ad is even barely showing up. So I know this is a really long video, but I just wanted to put some data out there and some personal experience out there. These liberal folks who run these large, what are supposed to be outlets of free speech, I mean, right? This is supposed to be an everyday American's ability to say what's on their mind and speak freely. You know, not hate speech. You know, not derogatory speech. Not defaming someone. Just a message that you want to get out personally. What I'm seeing right now is that Twitter, especially for sure, and Google is just squashing these results. I'm trying to promote this song and it's going nowhere. Like nothing I'm doing is reaching the consumer and just people in general. So hope someone's paying attention that has some influence, that knows a lot more than I do about this stuff, because boy, as just an everyday American guy with a family, it'd be great to see this change and see everyone's opinions valued, even on Google and Twitter.